Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Joffrey Noodle Legs here today. Today I've got another top 10 for you, music top 10. Today I'm going through my top 10 favourite New Model Army albums. Now this doesn't include any side projects or solo projects. It's basically New Model Army albums, but it does include some live albums. So I'm going to go through a top 10. But before I go through that, I'll go through three honourable mentions that didn't make the top 10 but still amazing albums. The first one is The Love and the Hopeless Cause. Really cool album. It's a lot of New Model Army fans' favourite. Includes a lot of sort of fan favourites like Fate and Here Comes the War and These Words and Bad Old World. So it's got quite a few of the fan sort of favourites on there. Didn't make me top 10 just because it's just not one in my top 10 favourite albums, but it is a great album. Really cool. One didn't make the top 10, but a very, very special album to me. I'll talk about it in another video because I will do another video on New Model Army. Some sort of like go through some more of my collection of theirs, like I did with the Gary Newman one, but with New Model Army, and telling you some stories about the band, and obviously because I know the band quite well. So I'll go through some stories on another video. But this one didn't make the top 10, but it's very important to me. And this is The Night of a Thousand Voices. This is a live album recorded in London. They did a special concert in London where they were in the middle of that. This is in a church, in the middle of a church, and the audience were all around. The band played the songs in quite a lo-fi, and the audience sang the song. So we all had sort of like hymn books and stuff like that. So they actually did a whole concert of that, and this is the album from that, and it also includes the DVD. And the DVD is really cool because the very first person you see in the DVD is me. So there we go. So that's really cool. I remember when that come out, Justin, the singer, messaged me and he said to me, "Oh, you should claim copyright on that because you're the first person in it." But there we go. So cool. And so we've got one more honourable mention. Another one of the fan favourites that didn't make me top 10 is the album High. Really cool album. It does include the song High. Um, uh, duh, 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 duh. Wired, another great track, and Blood Sports. Really, really good songs on this album. I just can only fit 10 in 10, can't I? So unfortunately, it just on the outside is High. Really good album. So we're getting to me top 10 now. Number 10 is one of their sort of more latest sort of albums, and this is Winter. This is a really cool album. They've done like a trilogy of albums over the past sort of like sort of 10 years. They've done like a trilogy of albums that are all really, really amazing, and the artwork on these are fantastic. And all the artwork is done by Jules Denby, who's done pretty much every album cover of theirs, and she was like a manager of theirs for a while. But she's done all the artwork in this really, really cool album. And Jules is such a talented artist. She's just amazing. Um, one of my spiders has a stone in its enclosure that's been painted by Jules, and that's really, really cool. And I might show you that in when I do that other video. But this is an amazing album. Standout tracks on this is obviously Winter, Devil, really, really cool. And what's the one I really love? Let me try and read the writing on it. After Something, that's the one. I really love that. And I love Beginning, the very first track. Really, really cool album. Love this album. And it's number 10. Number 9 is everyone's favourite. It's my number 9. It's Thunder and Consolation. Probably their most famous album. Includes the singles Stupid Questions, Green and the Grey, Vagabonds, and I Love the World. It's probably their most popular album, and it's probably their most iconic image as well. Although it's not theirs, that's an old Celtic cross that the band have sort of like used on the album. Really, really cool. Absolutely fantastic album. Number 8 is a live album, really, really cool, and it's called New Model Army and Nobody Else. And this is a really, really cool live album, double live album. The sound quality on this album is absolutely fantastic. Again, it comes in a really, really nice set. They do release really good sort of packaging, New Model Army, and I think, and they don't overcharge you. They do not overcharge you, which is amazing. So many CDs now, like so many bands release albums on their site, and they're like £20, but New Model Army, you know, £12, whatever, you know, for a double live album. Fantastic, and it runs for like need 2.5 hours. Great album. That's in at number 8. Number 7 is was their last album they did, and it's called From Here. This is a brilliant album, absolutely amazing. It's got the great songs End of Days on there, which I absolutely love. Never Arriving, The Weather. There's so many good songs on here. Absolutely fantastic album. Really, really, I don't know. I just every time I think of this album, I just think, oh, it's just so good. It's just such a good album. It's just masterfully written, brilliant songwriting. The songs are beautiful and they're amazing. From Here, amazing album. Wish I could have put it a bit higher, to be honest. Right, number 6. This is an album called 8. I really like this album. It's got some great songs on here called You Weren't There and Orange Tree Road. Really cool album. It's I love the artwork as well. I think it's really, really cool. Yeah, the album 8, so it's obviously the 8th album. So yeah, it's fantastic. Really, really cool album. Really cool. Love that album. Into my top 5, number 5, one of their earlier sort of classic albums, and it's the Ghost of Kane. Again, another iconic cover. This bit here has been covered up because it says only stupid bastards use heroin, and that was that's been covered up over the years just because of obviously the way the world's changed. But when it came out, it didn't have that cover up there. It was just said only stupid bastards use heroin. Anyway, this is Ghost of Kane. Really cool album. Great tracks on here. I really love 51st State, and I love Ballad. Ballad's one of my favourite New Model Army songs, and Inheritance. Really cool album. Right, number 4 is a live album. This is their anniversary album. Is it their 20th? No, their 30th anniversary. Now this is over 2 nights. There's both concerts on here on CD. It's been signed there by Justin. And it's really cool. It's got like 4 discs. Amazing, and it's got like a booklet. Really, really cool. So it's got the discs in here, and it's also got the DVDs in this box set. So it's got the 4 disc CDs and 2 disc DVDs in there. So it's got everything, the whole night. So I was at both nights, of course. There hasn't been a New Model Army tour apart from the last year or so because of my health that I haven't missed. So yeah, I've been on every tour since 1984, and I'll tell you about that in my another video. Really cool. Right, number 3, another classic early album of theirs, Impurity. Absolutely love this album. It's just amazing. I love this artwork. I wanted this. I was once going to get this as a tattoo, like a band around my arm. I just thought it was really cool. But then I saw quite a few Army fans with it, and I thought that I'm not getting at them. I'm not getting to get. I like to get me on. I do have some New Model Army tattoos. I've had some tattoos done by Jules, who does all the artwork. She's actually a tattooist as well, and she's done a few tattoos on me body. So that's awesome. And I've got tattoos from Ben Stone, who's like one of the sort of roadies and merchandise sort of store guy. He's been with the band for years, and he's also a professional tattooist. So I've got tattooists by him as well. So it's really cool. Love this album. Really cool. Great. The singles on here, you got Purity and Get Me Out. But I just love, trying to think what my favourite song is on there. I like all of them. The whole album's brilliant, but I do love Innocence and I love Space. I think they're fantastic songs. Great album. Really cool. Right, number 2. This is another one of the modern sort of trilogy one. This was the first one of them, and it's Between Dog and Wolf. This is a fantastic album. Look at that beautiful artwork. Herne the Hunter there. I've got that tattooed on the back of my leg by Jaws, which is awesome. So it's a really cool album. This sort of like brought them sort of like a little bit back into the limelight when this came out, and it really sort of like hit quite high in the charts because they had quite a bit of success in the 80s and early 90s, and they sort of went a bit more sort of underground and did it their own way. Um, didn't sort of come to like a big record companies, got to do this, got to do that. They did it their own way, but they still had a real hardcore following. Although nobody sort of like heard too much of them when they were doing albums like Eight and High, they were still selling out concerts around the world and headlining festivals. They just weren't that sort of band that needed to sort of sell themselves. Because if you knew, you knew, you know. If you were there, you were cool, and if you weren't, you missed out. So that's the way I look at New Model Army. Anyway, this album is fantastic. Songs that I love on this are do you make it safe? That's my favourite on there. But it's also got like things like Horseman, Seven Times, Between Dog and Wolf. Cracking album, really good, beautiful sound, beautiful. So my number one album has to be what was my number one favourite album of all time. Has to be my favourite New Model Army album, and of course it's No Rest for the Wicked, which is the tour that I saw the band on the very first time. I think this came out end of. Sorry about that, my phone just died. So I saw them in 1984, and I just absolutely fell in love with the band. It changed my life, and I just started to follow them around everywhere. And over the years, I've been following them and become quite good friends with them, and speak to some of the members of them quite frequently. So it's really, really cool. So that's my top 10 favourite New Model Army. Do any of you know New Model Army? Have you ever heard them? Check them out if you haven't. If you have, let me down below what your favourite album is. They're an amazing band. Really, really cool. Extremely underrated. They're like Britain's best kept secret when it comes to music. Their music is quite diverse. It's it's like an alternative sort of rock folk sort of sound to it. That's the only way I could describe them, with a little bit of a punky underfeel to them. Their earlier albums were more sort of punky. Then they got a bit of commercial success with Thunder and Consolation, which was a little bit more folky. A lot of bands influenced by that. You had bands coming out after that album like the Levelers and all this sort of thing. It's a really, really cool album. So that's it. I will do another video on New Model Army. I'm going to do one on like some of my collection, some of my collectible bits, and share a few stories with you with the band. So I will be doing that in the near future. Anyway, guys, till next time, look after yourself, keep rocking, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.